The Colorado River is dying, and it's dying fast. And if nothing is done about it, this could be the beginning of an ecological disaster that could permanently reshape large swaths of the United States.
The Colorado River is one of the world's greatest geological enigmas. Recent breakthroughs in 2026 using laser-based crystal dating and seismic X-rays have finally begun to solve mysteries that have haunted scientists for over a century. Here are 30 scientific reasons why the Colorado River is unlike anything else on Earth. The lake spillover birth. Scientists confirmed in April 2026 that the Grand Canyon wasn't just carved by slow, rhythmic erosion over eons. It was born when an ancient, massive lake, Lake Bidahochi, breached a natural rock dam. This resulted in a catastrophic singular flood event that inundated the canyon 5.6 million years ago. This theory replaces the old gradualist model, suggesting the river acted more like a massive pressurized fire hose than a gentle stream, scouring out the canyon's deep V-shaped notches in a chaotic, short-lived geological instant that forever altered the North American topography. The 5 million year gap. Geologists long struggled to explain the glaring absence of river evidence between 11 million and 6 million years ago. We now understand this was a period of geological purgatory, where the river was trapped within the high-altitude Bidahochi Basin. It functioned as an endorheic or closed drainage system with no path to the sea. This period of stagnation allowed the river to build up immense potential hydraulic energy, creating the pressure head necessary for the eventual explosive breach that carved the modern Grand Canyon. Zircon time vaults. Scientists use microscopic zircon crystals found in river sand as durable geochemical fingerprints. By using laser ablation mass spectrometry to date these crystals, they can track the exact volcanic source rocks they originated from. This allows geologists to reconstruct the river's precise flow path and drainage evolution over millions of years, effectively turning every grain of sediment in the riverbed into a high-fidelity GPS tracker for the river's ancient, lost history. Fossilized fish evidence. Recent excavations of fish fossils in ancient lake sediments have revealed morphological adaptations, such as enlarged fins and streamlined skeletons, consistent with life in extremely high-velocity, turbulent water. This discovery provides biological evidence that the river was not just a lazy, meandering stream, but an aggressive, powerful force pushing into the Bidahochi Basin long before it had the outlet capacity to carve the Grand Canyon. It confirms that the river was hydraulically primed for its eventual catastrophic spillover. The Kaibab Arch Sill. This massive, uplifted structural high of rock acted as a stubborn natural dam for millions of years. It forced the upstream water to pool into the Bidahochi Lake system, creating an inland sea of immense scale. The eventual breaching of this arch is the smoking gun of Grand Canyon geology. It represents a critical hinge point in the Earth's history, where the structural resistance of the Kaibab Arch was finally overcome by the hydraulic force of the dammed-up Colorado system. The water siphon effect. Recent 2026 climate studies reveal that modern alpine vegetation in the high-elevation headwater basins is consuming significantly more snowmelt than previously estimated. These plants act as a biological siphon, transpiring moisture into the atmosphere before it can recharge the river. This explains why the river's flow has been mysteriously drying up, even during years with high, record-breaking snowpack. The forests are effectively out-competing the river for water. The Salton Sink Dike. In the distant past, the Colorado River carried such immense volumes of sediment that it built a massive natural dike across the Gulf of California. This blocked the sea, isolating the northern tip and creating the sub-sea level Salton Sink. This geological damming event temporarily turned a marine environment into a massive desert basin, showcasing the river's raw power to manipulate the geography of an entire coastline. Submerged time capsules. As water levels in major reservoirs like Lake Powell fluctuate, ancient archaeological structures and geological formations submerged since the 1960s are re-emerging. These sites act as a historical save file of the river's past, allowing scientists to document landscapes that were supposed to stay permanently buried. Every time the water drops, we gain a brief, haunting window into the lost topography of the Glen Canyon era. The plateau's unique rise. Unlike the folded, crinkled peaks of the Rocky Mountains, the Colorado Plateau rose as a single, massive, flat block of stone. This unique tectonic behavior provided the perfect high-altitude canvas for the river to carve into. Because the plateau remained structurally intact during its uplift, it allowed the river to maintain a consistent, long-term incision path that created the classic, steep-walled geometry of the Grand Canyon. Volcanic tuff dams. Ancient eruptions in the western US once dammed the river with volcanic ash, known as tuff. These tuff dams temporarily forced the water to pool into high-altitude lakes that stretched for miles. When these ash-based dams eventually failed, they released torrents of water that catastrophically drained and eroded new, wider canyon sections, leaving behind chaotic, unconsolidated sediment layers as evidence of these violent, temporary damming episodes. Enjoying this countdown? Hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss the wildest geological facts coming up. Ice dam floods. During the Pleistocene epoch, massive glaciers in the Rocky Mountains created ice dams that backed up giant lakes. When these dams failed, they released superfloods down the river corridor. These events were so powerful, they reshaped canyon geometries in a matter of weeks, creating huge boulders, flood bars, and carved terraces that still line the river's course, proving that the landscape was formed by rare, extreme events, rather than just steady erosion. The leveed platform. The Colorado River enters the desert on a leveed platform built entirely of its own accumulated sediment. Because of its massive load of silt and sand, the riverbed sits 20 to 40 feet above the surrounding desert floor. This creates a dangerous, hanging river effect. If the river were to breach its self-made levees during a major flood, it could completely change course and devastate the surrounding desert plains. Tectonic X-rays. Using the US Array, a colossal temporary grid of seismic sensors, scientists have seen a convective drip of lithosphere currently sinking just north of the Grand Canyon. By analysing how seismic waves travel through the Earth, they can map the internal plumbing of the mantle. This confirms that the region is still geologically active, with deep mantle processes continuing to influence the landscape's elevation and stability today. Decompression melting. As the asthenosphere rises under the plateau to fill the gap left by sinking crust, It triggers decompression melting. This process infiltrates the crust with magma, making it dense enough to eventually break off and sink. This is the root cause of the region's long-term instability. The removal of mountain weight causes the underlying mantle to react, essentially linking erosion to volcanic and tectonic activity. Rapid incision. Studies show that once the river integrated, it began carving at a rate that far outpaced standard geological erosion. The sheer volume of water, combined with the extreme sediment load, acted like a giant belt sander on the bedrock. This rapid incision was further accelerated by the high gradients of the Colorado Plateau, which gave the river the kinetic energy needed to slice through even the hardest Precambrian basement rock. The Great Divide. The river's path acted as a definitive evolutionary barrier for millions of years. This barrier effectively isolated populations of plants and animals on opposite rims of the Grand Canyon, leading to speciation as groups diverged under different environmental pressures. The river essentially acted as an evolutionary laboratory, splitting a single ecosystem into two unique, distinct biological worlds that exist side by side yet remain separated by the canyon floor. The Toothy Worm Era. Recent fossil finds within the canyon's deepest strata reveal that 500 million years ago, this area was a Cambrian evolutionary hotspot. It was teeming with bizarre, slug-like mollusks and ferocious, toothy worms. These findings are rewriting our understanding of early complex life, as they show the Grand Canyon holds one of the most complete and strange records of the dawn of animal diversity anywhere on the planet. Sediment fingerprinting. Scientists can now map the specific chemical signature of rock eroded from the high Rockies and trace it all the way to the river's delta. By analysing the unique geochemical ratios in the silt, they can tell exactly which mountain range provided the sediment at any given time. This allows for a source-to-sink analysis that provides a detailed history of the river's erosion and transportation efficiency over the last several million years. The missing water mystery. Scientists are modelling how climate-driven heat waves accelerate plant thirst, providing a new way to predict the river's flow. As temperatures rise, the evapotranspiration rates in the high country increase significantly. This model helps explain the current water crisis. The river is not just facing a rainfall shortage, but an ecosystem-wide increase in water consumption by alpine forests, creating a new, unpredictable variable in the river's future water budget. The delta ecosystem. The river's delta was once a massive, lush, freshwater oasis that supported a high density of bird, fish, and mammal life. Today, that delta has been transformed by human intervention and changes in sediment delivery. But scientists are studying old delta sediments to learn how to restore some of its former biodiversity. The delta remains a critical ecological site where the river's life-giving sediment interacts with the marine environment of the Gulf of California. The interconnected web. Scientists are discovering that the river system is not an isolated hydrological feature, but part of an interconnected plumbing of deep mantle activity that spans the entire American West. From the Rocky Mountains to the basin and range, these systems are linked by deep crustal processes. This suggests that large-scale changes in one region, like the uplift of the Rockies, have direct consequences for the river's path, flow rate, and delta health. Karst sapping. While the spillover theory is the primary explanation for the canyon's birth, Some researchers argue that underground karst processes, where groundwater dissolves limestone, may have helped the river navigate through the resistant Kaibab Arch. By creating underground caverns and sinkholes, this karst sapping could have weakened the structural integrity of the rock, essentially providing the river with a ready-made underground path that it later enlarged into a surface canyon. The Ghost River Channels. Remote sensing and satellite mapping have identified ghost channels, paths the river began to carve but abandoned when tectonic shifts forced it in a different direction. These ancient dry canyons are scattered across the plateau, acting as a map of the river's failed attempts to find the ocean. They provide a fascinating look at the chaotic process of drainage evolution in a landscape constantly being reshaped by tectonic uplift. Seismic seepage. Deep-seated earthquakes have been linked to the weight of the massive water volumes in reservoirs like Lake Mead. This reservoir-induced seismicity shows how modern engineering is physically shifting the local geology. By adding billions of tons of water to the landscape, humans are creating stress on ancient faults, proving that even our artificial structures can influence the tectonic behavior of the Earth's crust in a meaningful, measurable way. The future rebound. Scientists are studying how the Colorado Plateau is still flexing in response to millions of years of river erosion. As the river removes the heavy weight of the overlying rock, the crust underneath is slowly rising through isostatic rebound. This proves that the river is not just carving the earth, it is actually causing the earth to lift as the weight of the stone is removed. This constant push and pull between river incision and tectonic uplift is a never-ending cycle that keeps the plateau in a state of constant, slow-motion upheaval. Would you ever dare to strap on a kayak and navigate a river that spent millions of years trapped in a hidden lake before it had the power to carve the Earth's greatest canyon? Or does the fact that your feet are sitting on a lithospheric drip make you want to stick to the flatlands? And let me know your theories. Do you think there are more lost river paths buried deep beneath the desert? Or has modern science finally revealed all of the Colorado's secrets? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this deep dive into the hidden history of the American West shattered your idea of how mountains are formed, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. Don't let the algorithm hide the rest of our bizarre planet from you. See you in the next anomaly.